Hey guys, I wanted to do a Discus section, a kind of a beginner's guide slash like 101. So a little intro slash history on, I guess, my fish experience. I've been keeping fish for 17, 18 years now. Started with, the usual goldfish, moved all the way up to tropical fish like mollies, sword swordtails, and then going to kois, um, and going into cichlids. Had angelfishes as well, Oscars. I actually at one point had some saltwater, but not really with coral and whatnot, just mainly fish for saltwater. I had arowanas at one point. So um, I have a variety of experience with all types of fish, and these discus here are actually my first time. I've heard many stories about they're really hard to keep, that you need to be on par with like water changes, parameters, and whatnot, and I kind of wanted to give a little bit of, I guess, um, feedback slash input on that and what my experience so far with these discus and how to maintain them for especially like beginners, intermediate people, and even advanced. Um, so starting off with that, are these fish for beginners? I would not recommend that because one, just starting off and just the cost of these fish are really high. So if you do lose them, that definitely sucks. And just the stuff that the basic needs for these fishes are quite demanding in terms of water parameters. But I'll kind of get into that in a little bit here. But I would recommend you have at least some experience with having a fish tank, just because you'll know the water quality, the water parameters, the cycle, and whatnot to actually maintain these fish. So I would definitely recommend um, moderate experience to maintaining this. So at least have at least keep fish for a couple years or even a couple months, knowing what signs or sicknesses and whatnot before actually trying to attempt these. So I do not recommend keeping these for beginners. But again, if you are a beginner, don't 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 feel that you can't get these fish. Um, you can, but the risks are a little bit higher, and know what you're kind of getting into in terms of loss and whatnot if you don't know what you're doing. Um, so so let's jump into temperature wise. So discus, I've heard that you can keep them at 82 plus. The bare minimum is 82 for temperature wise. I've heard people keeping them in the 80s. Um, but what I've known from keeping these guys so far is if you keep them a little too low, they become a little skittish. Their colors aren't as vivid, and they kind of just like to hide a lot. So actually, my tank is at 83, 84-ish, and any higher, it starts to be really hard to keep any other fish with it, to be honest. And if you keep it like what a lot of other people recommend or have them at is like at 85, 86, and other fish don't really tolerate higher temperatures like these plecos and these neons that I have on here. They don't really like high temperatures, but I've been kind of keeping an eye on them when I first put these guys on here. just to make sure that they can withstand the high temperature, and they seem to be doing fine. Um, so just temperature wise, I would say 80, 83, 82 is a little low, but I would say 83, 84 is a good temperature, especially if you're trying to keep plants as well. Plants, they don't really like high temperature as much, but I've noticed my tank here, it's pretty well heavily planted, um, and and they're doing fine at 80, 84, right? Um, so yeah, I would recommend keeping it 83, 84. That's just, I've actually played with different temperatures with these guys. I've kept it at 82. They didn't really like it that much. Like I said, they seem to hide a lot, um, and they didn't. They would eat. I mean, they would do fine at 82. Don't take me wrong, but it just doesn't look like they were coming out as much. Um, and at the higher temperatures, I've noticed that they gasp for air or a lot more, and uh, especially another thing with keeping at high temperature is making sure you have a lot like some sort of air stone, because oxygen can be retained at higher temperatures in the water as well. So that's just a little tip there.